Hello everybody, I'm Neil Griffiths and this is Simon Barry, and this video is about providing you with even further understanding and perhaps some clarity about what we're trying to achieve, with specifically the reaction times. So hopefully you'll find this engaging, and there'll be some opportunities for you to feedback via the forum. So what we're going to do, we're going to break this down into a series of questions, and then me and Simon are going to answer and hopefully provide that clarity that we feel we need to get across. So Simon, first question really, what's it all about?
Okay, well, we recognise that we're going to make most impact. West Midlands Fire Service recognises we will have most impact incidents by being there as quickly as we possibly can. Therefore, we've made a commitment to the communities of the West Midlands that we will be at the highest risk incidents. So these are incidents that involve significant risk to life within 5 minutes. Now that's a really stretched target, and it puts us right up there as the top performing fire and rescue service in the country. The good news is that we're already a long way along the route of achieving that attendance time, and we do achieve it on a number of occasions. So we're already performing really well. So what's important to note here is we're starting from a really, really positive place. But what we recognise is if we can just enhance the small elements, you might have heard of this term marginal gains, if we can look at the small parts of the overall attendance time, we think we'll be able to shave a number of seconds off each of those different areas, which in turn will add up to a bigger time saving, and therefore we'll be more likely to achieve the 5-minute attendance time more often.
So what do our staff need to do?
All they need to do is just really take a look in the mirror. At the moment we're looking at the reaction time element, so this is the time from when the bells go down or the MDT sounds on the appliance. They just need to look and say, from when that happens, are we getting turned out as quickly as we possibly can in a safe manner? This is not about people running down the stairs and being unsafe, but it's about saying, in all the little things that we do, so for example, going to the fire cat and looking at the printer, or looking at the map, or whatever it might be, is there a way that we can shave 5 or 10 seconds off what we do in that area in order to get quicker overall?
But what about those side? What about if our staff are already fast and as they are the best they can be?
Well, if they really believe that they're the best they can be, that's all we ask for, absolutely. You know, that's one of our key aims, is to be the best we can be. So if that is the case, then that's great. But I think that most people, if they're honest, might be able to look and say, well, perhaps we could just do that little bit quicker. So the teams that are performing really well, absolutely fantastic. But we're asking everybody just to make that assessment and see whether there is room for further improvement.
But a couple of questions that were posted on the forum, that this may increase injuries because people will start running and things like that. Is that the sort of thing you're trying to strive for?
No, I think what I said the point a moment ago. What we're looking for is to get as quick as we can, as fast as we can, but most importantly, as safely as we can as well. So this is within the confines of making sure it's safe and it's proportionate, but making sure that we are as quick as we can be.
Our staff have also commented on things like, well, the dressing policy slows us down, and effective use of tom-toms and things like that. Yeah. What would you say to that?
Well, I think again, if we look at the different elements there, the reaction time, of the attendance time programme that we're looking at, we've got the receipt of call, the reaction time, and the travel time. These 3 elements are what make up our overall attendance time. So what we're looking at the minute is the reaction time element only. In regards to the other areas you just mentioned, we absolutely will look at those in the next phases, but what we're just looking at the moment is just focus on the reaction time element, see how effective we can be in that area, and then we'll also look at the others. It doesn't stop with the reaction time, but that's the first thing that we're looking at.
So just to clarify and just to summarise that, this isn't about people rushing and being quicker. This is about them understanding where they are as a team, and they can look at themselves and say, actually look in the mirror, are we as fast as we can be safely?
Yeah.
If we are, fantastic.
Yeah.
If not, what can we do?
Absolutely.
To increase our speed?
I think one other thing I didn't mention is that those teams that are performing really, really well at the top end at the moment, how can they influence the other teams to tell them what they're doing maybe differently? Because The reaction times dashboard, which is now available, so people can go and monitor how, the improvements that they're making and how fast their reaction time is. That's difficult to compare from a station to station basis because we know that we've got different layouts. You know, the mess room might be upstairs, or the training room might be upstairs, and that might mean that when they're doing the training they're potentially slower to get to the vehicle. But so you can't necessarily compare station with station, but certainly across the watches at the same station you'd expect it to be broadly similar. So if one watch is really quick and they are booking mobile in line with the recently issued guidelines, then we'd ask what are they doing differently that they can pass on to their team.
So I mean, because you know that's been brought up on the forum. So the dashboard, it's not like a performance tool. You must be as quick
Absolutely
as.
not, no.
But what's
what we don't want to say to people, you must do this, you must achieve this target. What we're saying is, look in the mirror, see how quickly you can go. Now, if teams are looking at and comparing themselves against other teams, what we'd say the positive thing from that is that they'll be able to share that learning.
So you know, just to finish this question off, what about this 1 minute standard that we have set? Does that mean everybody's got to be a minute? And if they don't get to a minute, that means they're not doing as well as we'd hope?
No, what that means is, when we're saying a minute, we think that's a realistic target for people to aim towards, but we understand that there are, as I said previously, different station layouts, different factors to consider. So it's really, that's our aspiration, to get to 1 minute, and we're confident that it's a realistic aspiration, but we also understand that it might not be possible, and that some of the marginal gains might be realised for those locations in the next phases. You know, some of the changes that you spoke about earlier in the receipt or the travel time.
Okay, thanks. So.
Okay, Neil, so a couple of questions that we've had, and a couple of phone calls we've had, have been around, and questions on the forum actually, have been around the stopwatches that have been sent out to stations. Can you tell me a bit of info about them?
Yeah, the whole purpose of when we started it was really to create a brand that people can understand and tune into, and really sort of buy into what we was trying to achieve. You mentioned your 5 minute attendance time, that part of making West Midlands safer, so people could understand it. The stopwatches were thought up of what we want to do is do something really different, and also as well try and create a fun environment as well. It's okay to have fun at work, and the sort of purpose of the stopwatches was to say to people, well, here's a stopwatch, have a play with it, you can use it if you want to, and you can actually have a bit of fun with it and see how long it does take you to respond. And also you can say, well, can we respond from different areas of the station, what's the lag time, so people can really understand that, you know, by shaving them 5 seconds off, that would really have an impact. You know, for example, if somebody timed themselves from a location like the rest area, and that caused them to be a larger reaction time than another area of the station, well, consider moving the rooms around so we can react in the most effective manner, yeah, and be as quick as we can be. So I think from reading on the forums, perhaps we could have communicated it a little bit more effectively, but the whole purpose of it was to get people talking about what we're trying to achieve, and perhaps in not the way we sort of perceived it to be. The case has been that people are now talking about it, yeah, and they understand, and that was the whole principles behind it.
Yeah, because this is about everybody understanding that our response times are really important to us, because we believe that they will ultimately lead to better outcomes for the West Midlands. So.
You know, and I think on that point, you know, again, some feedback from our staff. This wasn't a tool or a symbol to say you must time your staff and be quicker. This was about saying, well, use it if you want to, and just have a little bit of fun at work, and try and understand, linking a bit of the working environment into what we're trying to achieve here. You don't have to use it, but if you want to, try it, see what happens, and then if you don't, you can put it in the new pack, and if you go to an incident, you can time it, and then when the ambulance come back and they say, how long's that person been there, you say, oh, 3 minutes, or something like that.
Something else, can't you? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what about the whistles? Because I've had a couple of questions about them as well.
Yeah, the whistles, I mean, you know, being really open and honest here, the whistles came free with the stopwatches, right. And I made a decision. I thought, okay, well, we'll just send them out because they were free. Unfortunately, and I can really understand some people's feedback, it was viewed as quite a negative symbol. We had no intention of people blowing with a whistle at people to be as quick as they could be. You know, in hindsight, if I could do that again, it was either I'd send them out but say this is what it's for, you just came free with it.
Yeah. But
if I could do it again, I'd probably leave them to one side. So, you know, bit of learning for us there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't get it right all the time.
No.
But it wasn't about, right, you got to blow the whistle and collect your stopwatch and be as fast as you can be.
Yeah.
It was just something that we did, and we've listened to our staff, and great.
Yeah, and I think absolutely. But I think the key thing there is that the whole thing. I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but the whole thing is just about saying, be the best you can be. Have a look in the mirror and see if there are any seconds you can shave off what you're currently doing, because we believe it will have a bigger impact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and in terms of next steps, what are they going to be?
Well, like you mentioned before, there's 3 key areas. So the receipt of call. So this is about where we get engaging with fire control as well, and see what steps we could put in place at that end to shave any of those vital seconds off. But specifically, our next steps for like operations and what we can be involved in. There's a lot of people talk about the dressing policy and tom-tom. So what we're specifically going to look at, certainly in the short term, is our dressing policy.
Yeah.
We've already engaged with health and safety, and health and safety saying, okay, let's look at the data, let's put a group together, let's really understand the requirements of our staff. If our staff are telling us that that is hindering on how we can respond, or the whole response time, right, and we can do it safely, well, let's make some improvements there. So that would be one part. The second part, we could look at introducing or more effective use of the tom-tom system. Mm-hmm. Currently, flexi-duty officers get a turnout, and they get the incident directly to the tom-tom. Well, we can apply the same principles to the appliance. Yeah. So again, that will shave a few more seconds off. Now, if you add all those together, just on those 2 I talked about, the dressing and the tom-tom, imagine if that just shaved 20 seconds off. Now, the impact that that's going to have is our current average response time is 5 minutes 10 seconds. With our commitment to the authority to say 5 minutes for a Cat 1, even 20 seconds, that's going to put us under the wire. And like you said before, we're already high performing. This is the journey from competence to excellence. Absolutely. Underneath the wire, that will just be, we can be the best we can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to finish then, I suppose that what I'd like to say is that they're just a couple of ideas. There's probably loads more ideas out there. We know some people have contacted us with their ideas. Nothing's off the table, but the important thing at this moment is to concentrate on the reaction part, your reaction time element, and then we'll look at the other stuff afterwards and see how we can get the whole thing even quicker.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Now people have started to engage, and they starting to understand what we're trying to achieve. It's just that, like you mentioned a couple of times, that look in the mirror. Are we the best we can be? Are we reacting as quick as we can? If you are, fantastic, right? You don't need to do anything else because you're the best you can be. If you look in the mirror and you go, you know what, we could shave 5 seconds off by just doing something different, well then, fantastic, that's for you to look at. Yeah. You know, we've got to stress here, we are not setting expectations saying, you will do it in a minute, you will run down the stairs, you will do this, you will do that. This is about turning it around and wanting our staff to do the right things.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
What, you good to go? You filming?
Yeah.
Right then, so introduction first then.
Okay, yeah, hello everybody. This video is just to provide that understanding.
Sorry. I don't know which camera I'm looking at. That one or that one?
This one to start with. That's just recording at all times, go on.
So I'm looking at that camera, so I can't be facing Neil then, can I?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need to be
just
more
don't, you
like-
don't ignore the camera.
I need to
Forget the camera.
ignore the camera.
Ignore the camera.
Because you're looking at it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, it's just going to be the
But then after
introduction
that,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
And then you're just
Sorry,
talking.
sorry,
and then
mate.
then you're just talking to Neil.
Okay.
hello, everybody.
Hang on.
Let's do all up.
Let me say word.
Hello, everybody.